same time, I can't wear my headphones, so it's weird.
Okay. Let me ask. Are you guys, can y'all hear her? Is she okay?
Yep, all good,
Awesome.
apparently.
And we are recording.
Excellent.
I love the shirt. I thought it was a
Thank you.
skull for a second.
It is. See,
Oh, it is a skull. She's really
maybe I
rock
should dress
star.
in something I actually wear normally. So,
Let me turn off monitor. Okay. I see a boob. Full disclosure, I took a nap before this, and I feel great.
um, full disclosure, I did a live before this, and it may be why I'm late.
Yeah. I love you. Okay, so welcome to Unmasked. This is a show where I basically interview people to kind of remove the mask of the performance label on them and sort of see who the persona is underneath the persona, you know? So my question that I started out when I first wanted to do this show was the thesis question was, what is a seemingly mundane question that can make a person reveal themselves? And so I came up with a list of questions that are just innocuous, seemingly innocuous, but can really tell you a lot about somebody, you know, if you really pay
Yep.
attention. So if you were to go back in my previous interviews, there are certain questions that they would answer jokingly and then they would answer seriously. But the joking answer also was their answer. So you had to kind of figure out a way to figure it out.
Yep.
So I've got a whole team behind me. I have somebody in my background helping me with the background. I have my admins. Aggro is my admin, uh, and I've already sent you the introduction. Basically, don't make chat come after you after this. This isn't to make people like pissed off or anything. This is to have a
No.
good time, relax. If at any time, uh, if you admin, yes, she aggro is my admin, get it?
Yeah.
Yes, OG Sean. This is vaguely familiar. Yes. Yes, he gets it. As thank you so much for joining me today, and thank you. I really appreciate you for agreeing to come on here today and agreeing to do something like this. So, without further ado, this is EzzRock, the newest, I think, co-captain
Yep.
of Rage Family. Go ahead, introduce yourself.
So, for those that don't know me, my name is EzzRock, not Easy Rock, as a lot of people pronounce it. Um, I am the newest co-captain of the Rage family. I'm also part of one of the newest agency broadcasting agencies, Signature Elites. Um, and I
And who's the agency owner
swore,
of that?
Saphira.
Saphira Murrow, right?
Yep. Um, and so I promised Saphira that I also wouldn't bring the agency into disrepute. So I will behave myself as best as I ever do. Well, no, as best as I can, not as I ever do.
Okay, me too. I had promised Will that I wouldn't be crazy. Although at this point, he wouldn't mind probably.
Well, we both do have a tendency to bring out the best and worst in each other. We think it's funny.
I think it's hilarious. Hey, Dee Dee. All right, so July is also Disability Pride Month. Just wanted to let everybody know that I'm going to do a self care panel on the 24th of Friday. It's the second to last Friday of the month. So if you're interested in that, I'm looking for speakers for $9 on self care. And then you're also one of my good friends. I wrote that down. I was like, one of my very good friends. Oh,
Yes.
somebody off the show wanted to ask a question, so I went ahead and put that in here. So this is
Yep.
not part of my questions, but they wanted to know. How did you first find where you belonged, and why was it the Rage family?
Wow. Um, so I went through a lot of, well, I wouldn't say a lot of families, not as many as some, um, but I went through. First, there was the Badass family. That was the first one I ever joined. Um, then I went to Mafia. Then I went to insanity, and then I finally ended up at rage. So first and foremost, I've always been drawn to the rock genre. So I needed a family that was going to be sort of that leaning so that I didn't upset the apple cart, so to speak. So not really any good for me to be in, say, a Disney family when it is the last thing I would want to sing. Um, so I was looking for uh, rock families. Um, and I wasn't sure what I was looking for, to be honest. Um, I just knew that each of those previous families was missing something. It just didn't feel like a really tight fit. It didn't feel like I was, all facets of me was seen or appreciated. Not saying anything good or bad about those other families. They just weren't the right fit. Um, and I'd always been around Mel. We'd been friends since I was since I was just starting to leave Mafia. Oh, I actually forgot a family in between Mafia and Insanity. One of the Mafia family actually started their own family. Um, I am a crazy tasker. I do love Monster. Um, it speaks to my gaming roots. And so having a really, really small family didn't suit me for that. Um, so yeah, Rage, basically I'd been around Mel a lot, and anytime I ever needed someone to stick up for me, I needed to talk to, I needed advice, whatever, Mel had always been there. And when she found out that I was looking to leave Insanity, then she reached out and said that there would be a place for me at Rage if I wanted it. And that there is an unofficial co-captain group, because Star Maker only allows you to have so many co-captains.
Oh yeah.
But there's an off-app Facebook group for those that sort of lead or guide the Rage family, and I was straight into that because Mel said that she could see what I'd done for Insanity, and she would love for me to be instrumental in helping with Rage. So yeah, and I was welcomed with open arms. They've always been around when I needed them. So yeah, it just felt like the right place to be, and still does.
That's awesome. I think I found where I belong so far. We'll see.
Sean has asked if insanity does insanity always lead to rage? No, not always. Not always.
Well, oh yeah, I thought you were talking about on app. On app, yes. Insanity will lead to rage.
In real life, I think it probably does. Sorry, let me correct myself. I do get a bit of a soapbox about calling things real life that are off app. It's just off app or on app because all of it's real.
456 people in rage. Oh, nice.
Yep.
All right. So before we start the interview with the actual questions, I want to have you verbally agree to be okay with being recorded for YouTube.
Yep, absolutely no problem.
Awesome. Are you ready? I have specifically gone through these questions a lot harder than my other people that I've interviewed, so I feel very proud of them. But I will give you a chance at the end. I have a special question for you to kind of get back at me. So let's start.
I also have a surprise for you at the end. So
yes, we get to. I'll show you yours and you show me mine. I mean,
okay.
You know, I'll show you mine. You show me yours. There you go. The gummies are
something like that. We'll show each other's off.
Okay. Is my voice low, or am I far away from the mic?
I'm just naturally loud, so.
Yeah, she's naturally loud, so. Let's see. How's that? Is that better?
It is actually a little bit.
Okay, cool. We'll do that. All right. So what keeps you coming back to the app?
Well, if we're talking about now, it's a little bit different than, I guess it's been a bit of a journey that kept me coming back and back. When I first came to the app, like a lot of people, uh, I was a bit of a broken toy. I was looking for some sort of validation, even if it was just fairy floss. There wasn't much substance to it. Uh, it wasn't real validation. It was still something. Because I was dealing with a lot of things in my personal life and work life that I just wasn't getting any of that. Um, no, good job, well done, gold star, none of that. Um, and so I came to the app sort of looking to get something like that from somewhere. Um, and it evolved from getting that to not needing that, but wanting to help others seeking that same sort of thing and be a voice for uh, not needing to, I guess, feed that monster that just wanders around the app, that toxic sort of proclivity that a lot of people have to make themselves feel better through tearing someone else down so they can feel like they're a little bit higher. And there's other ways to uh, make yourself feel better that is healthier for everybody. And I sort of want to be that voice, that voice of reason to a point. Everything that I do on here is about good-natured fun. Uh, I sometimes miss the mark, but it's not intentional. Um, it is always about trying to give a positive experience or a bit of fun. Uh, I'm not chasing uh, fame, which I don't think is possible. I'm not saying it's not possible. It's very unlikely on the app. Um, it's about being okay in yourself and trying to help people see that.
So you want to be like a guide or a mentor, addict, not addict, sorry. Addicted to the app. You're addicted to the app. No.
Everyone is.
Yes.
Anyone who says they're not either hasn't been here very long or is still in denial. My mini me's agree with me.
Your mini-me's agreed with you. So this kind of this next question kind of jumps on what you said earlier, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Did you or do you have someone that you consider a mentor on Star Maker? And the second part of that question is there someone that always supports you on app?
Um, so there's a few. There's a few different answers to all that. Um, as I said before, uh, anytime I've needed someone, even when I haven't known I've needed someone, uh, Mel has always been there. Um, and that's off app as well. Like we have a lot of conversations that don't take place uh, within the confines of Star Maker. Um, I would say that Mel is one of the best captains I have come in contact with for the level of concern and availability that she has for those that are in her family. And such a big family, that's a big statement. Um, as far as I guess someone I look up to, I'm now part of her agency. Safira has an amazing voice uh, and is a beautiful soul. If you haven't come in contact with her, uh, I, I highly recommend seeking her out. She is one of the most genuine human beings that I've found on this app. Uh, it's what you see is what you get with her, and her rock voice is just so powerful and amazing. Um, so yeah, I guess I kind of aspire to emulate her in some way. Um, as far as who shows up, we just got Star Maker married. Uh, Johnny and I kept it in the family.
Congratulations.
Uh,
Congratulations. Got to keep it in the family.
and
Congratulations. Congratulations.
absolutely. Um, we're we're both happily married to off app. It's not that sort of marriage, so to speak. It all came about because it was the only spot that I had left in my friendship space, and we spend so much time chatting in that off app, and uh, he's always been there to make suggestions and things like that. Um, and we thought it'd be funny to be married on app. He goes, "Oh, so you wanna?" I said, "That's not that different to how my husband actually asked me, so I guess that's in keeping."
So you
But
want
yeah, so you wanna? He's not normally asking about getting married, but that's okay. We're, off app, on app, a little bit different.
Does your off app husband know about Johnny?
No. Um, he calls this that stupid karaoke thing you do. Um, for those that don't know, my husband is a retired lead singer for a rock band. It's how I actually met him and chased him, and I'm the groupie that got him. So, yeah, there's context to that. But he's not a big fan of the app because his brother was married to a real piece of work who decided to have an emotional affair on a different platform that shall not be named, but we all know what it is, to the point that their marriage actually broke down, and she now lives with that guy.
Oh.
So there's a bit of angst about music apps and that sort of thing, and what I might find in the app, which, yeah, it's not that sort of thing for me. I know others have, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying that's not what the app is for me. I'm not looking to fill that sort of hole for myself. Puns not
Okay.
intended, but hilariously drawn anyway.
Is there a song that you love, but is so deeply meaningful you find it almost triggering to listen to? Why do you think it triggers you?
Um, I'm going to try not to cry even mentioning it. Uh, in the Living Years is really hard for me to sing, talk about, uh, because I was so very close to my dad. Um, and it's been nearly 30 years since I lost him. But in the right or wrong moment, or sometimes caught off guard, that song really still gets to the heart of me. No matter how many times I've tried to sing it, no matter how many times I try to go on autopilot for it, it's there's so many things I left unsaid, so many things I wish I had. Um, in that same vein, there's a newer one. How do I say goodbye? I forget who the artist is, um, but it's the same sort of thing. And I'm good in that song right up until he it talks about how the singer promised the dad that he would take care of his mom when the dad was gone. And I made those same promises. So that's really hard. Um, but that I still try to sing them because I think there is something cathartic about about singing things that are so close to your heart that you feel so strongly about. Um, I call it bleeding on the mic.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Allowing yourself to feel those feelings in full and being okay with sharing that experience with others, because you never know who that could help. There could be someone who feels so isolated and so alone in those same feelings that by sharing that, it's that when you share a trouble, it's halved type idea. Um, just knowing that other people can feel that way can sometimes be all someone needs to be able to make that next step to repairing that damage.
I'm over here trying to think what song triggers me, and the one that I keep thinking is the one that you helped me work on, the Say Hello to Heaven one.
Hmm.
That one triggers me. Hmm.
But it's one of those things that I I think it's important, even if you're just singing it by yourself, even if you can't sing it in front of other people. It so many of us lock our feelings down and think, oh, well, I'll deal with that later. I'll deal with that later. And later never comes. And when you do that, it's like stuffing stuff into a closet and leaning against the closet to lock it. Well, you can only do that so many times before unexpectedly the lock gives way and everything spills out. And you have no control over that. Whereas when you choose to sing those songs that trigger, when you choose to deal with those emotions in a time that's convenient for you, you're not in as much danger for it coming out when you least need it to, when it is most unexpected. Um, when you're trying to go for a job interview, when you're trying to deal with something at work, these are the kinds of inconvenient times that this stuff can bubble out if you just continue to press it down.
Yeah, we got deep there. We're gonna go a little deeper.
All
If you
right.
could go back in time and give your younger self one piece of advice that you know she would take, because you know our younger selves are little assholes, what would it be and why?
See, the kicker there is that I know she would take. Um, yeah, it. I wasn't real good at taking advice from anyone. Uh, I know that comes as a big shock. Um, I guess probably it's being perfect isn't important. Um, very early in life, I became very focused. I don't want to use the word obsessed because it's thrown around a lot, but hyper focused on always having not just the right answer, but the perfect answer. Not just making the right choice, but making the best choice. Not always being just in the race and finishing, but being the first and the best and the greatest. And it's something that I've come to struggle with. Uh, it gets in my way a lot. Um, when I was in university, I was actually diagnosed with something called OCPD, which we've talked about a bit, but for the rest of the crowd, um, OCPD is obsessive compulsive personality disorder. Different to OCD. OCD people, firstly, uh, need to go through routines to calm themselves. So, and they know that these compulsions are problematic. Um, OCPD people, as a personality disorder, most personality disorders don't see a problem. The problem is with the rest of the world, not with them. Um, if only everybody did things my way, then they would find that their lives were better. Why can't they just do things my way? Um, it took a lot of work for my shrink in university to bring me around to accepting that. But one of the most problematic symptoms, results, however you want to look at it, of that is the hyper focus on perfection and losing sight of the bigger picture because I have to get this thing perfect. For example, when I was in university, I could spend easily a half hour trying to choose the font I was going to write the paper in because to me, it was so important. I would go through thought processes like, well, if it's not readable enough, then it'll have a negative effect on the professor and they'll grade me lower because it wasn't readable enough. But if it's too dry, then it's not going to be perceived well either. And so round and round and round I'd go, when really, is it going to make enough of a difference to be a tangible result? And that's what I've learned to ask is this thing going to make a big enough impact to warrant the amount of effort I'm putting into the decision? Most times the answer comes back no. And I've learned to be able to let some of that be. That sometimes good enough really is good enough. That's probably the thing that I wish I'd learned earlier. And I would hope that I could listen to because it's not that confronting.
Okay. That was a good answer. I love your answers. I have to say, I have to interrupt this for a little bit because I need to toot my own horn. I'm pretty good at these interviews, but I have to say you're my favorite so far. You are so easy and calm. And I'm not trying to be rude, but I'm over here like, yeah, I love this.
Well, I have said to people that asked about me doing this interview and what was so special about doing this interview. I said, because you are so good, that it's not ever adversarial. You're not trying to trick somebody. You're not trying to reveal something they don't want to reveal or force them into something. It's just sheer, genuine curiosity. And that's the place that your questions come from. It's just a curiosity. It's not a gotcha kind of interview. Nope. There's no need for me to be worried or anxious about what is she going to bring up. It's not that kind of interview. But the questions are still hard. Not because you're trying to get me to say something, but because I do have to put a lot of thought into it, and because they are really thought-provoking. And so I've been looking forward to it. I've tried very hard not to go look at any of your other interviews because I didn't want to be prepared or thinking through the questions if you reused any of them. So I've tried to come as unprepared as possible.
I appreciate that.
So
I'm glad that you said that. So don't think of me weird for this next question.
Okay.
When was the last time you felt truly seen by another person? What happened that made you feel that way?
Wow. Probably my newest boss, which, for those that don't realize what a big statement that is, I've just finished a court case, maybe a month, 2 months ago, where I took an employer to court for workplace bullying and harassment because it was that epically bad. I'd left other employment before and just, fuck you, I'm gone. But this was that bad that I felt they needed to answer for it. So that being said, the pub that I work for, hired probably, I want to say it's about a month ago now, a new uh, operations manager. So basically, the second in charge of the pub. Um, he's fantastic, um, and very much lets everyone know all the time. If you get what I'm saying. Um, but he sat down with me very early on. I think he'd only been there a week. And he said, I can tell you're anxious a lot. And I don't think it's because you can't do the job. If you don't mind, if you're willing to talk to me about it, I promise to be a safe space and it stays between us. Um, can we talk about what's going on? He said, because I see glimmers of greatness and then you get in your own way again. And he's right. Um, and it took me back because I've had that question before, and they took the information and weaponized it. And so I'm always very cautious when people ask me those questions. What is your motive? What are you trying to do? And after I told him at the time, I said, look, I'm really not, yes, there's stuff going on. No, I'm not ready to talk about it. I appreciate your interest. But I don't think it's my employer's job to solve these problems for me. But appreciate you recognizing there are some. And he accepted the answer. But about a week later, I approached him because I was testing. I was waiting to see how he behaved, because I'm pretty observant with other people's behavior. I think that's a fair statement, that I see a lot of what others don't. And everything said genuine. Everything came back to me as feedback of, this guy really means what he says. And so I sent him a couple of messages because I wasn't ready to say things out loud about my OCPD, about the court case, about what that did to me, about where my headspace was at. And the next day, he asked if I had a moment, and we went into the office, and he goes, I really appreciate the vulnerability and the courage this took to share with me. Because I told him in the message that previous sharing with employers had seen this stuff weaponized and used against me when I shared it in good faith, not as an excuse, because I never say about my OCPD or any of that as an excuse or an allowance for me doing things not quite right. It is to explain why I do these things and for you to understand what I'm working against. Because it is like so many other things. It's a daily struggle. It's not that you necessarily are cured. You just have good days and you have bad days. And he's been helping me get past that. Like one of the hardest things about the job I do at the moment is most of my experience is in bar work. So being behind a bar, doing drinks, cocktails, all this sort of thing, not in a restaurant, mostly bars. As a duty manager, assistant manager, however you want to say it, whatever, depending on the company, depends on the label. It is expected that I should be able to jump into what's called a pass. So that's the place where the chefs are on one side, the front of house team are on the other, and you are the through point. So you're making sure that the orders are all going out together to tables. You're asking, where is this? I still need this. It's very high pressure, especially if you're at a busy restaurant. And it is not unusual at this venue for 5 or 6 dockets to come up at once with 5 or 6 plates on each one. And you have to know how to get that out well, and that it's been plated well. No, you can't serve that. That's burned. Get that done again. All this sort of thing. Just because of my OCPD, that sort of pressure cooker situation, I can handle if I'm used to it. If I've had to answer these questions before. But because I want to make the perfect decision, the best choice, I go into decision paralysis of, oh my God, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And so things start backing up and it becomes this snowball type thing. Now he knew that I'd also been in a steel reinforcing service center where we cut and bent steel on site, which is dangerous as fuck. Because that machinery doesn't give a shit that that's your finger. And I had to deal with some of those situations where they hadn't listened to me about how important safety was and all this sort of thing. And some of those boys are a couple fingers shorter than they used to be. And I had to deal with that. And I dealt with that no problem. When it's a real problem, when I view it as a crisis, I don't have the decision paralysis because my emotions don't get in the way. I can lock those off automatically for the moment in a crisis because I go, shit, crisis, emotions gone, deal with it. And so now afterwards, it's a whole messy mess, as it is for most people. But I can deal with that real crisis without a drama. It's when I don't see it as a real crisis, but I'm having a decision crisis, that I get myself around the twist. And he's been helping me remember that even though it's not a real crisis, I can deal with it. I don't need to get emotional about it. It's just food. No one's going to die. There's no, oh my God, you sent it to the wrong table. Not a big deal. It'll just get shifted to the correct table in a minute. So making the perfect and the best decision isn't that important in this situation. Yes, in a crisis, it is very critical you make the best and the right decision, but my emotions aren't getting in the way, so I can. It's that, oh my God, I'm going to get fired if this is wrong. That trigger from 3 years of having that be a trigger and a real threat that I just have to learn to let go. And that's probably the hardest thing. But he sees that and has been helping me through that. And that has been life-changing because I had given up on me being able to have a boss that could accept and help me through that. So yeah, he's probably the most recent example of being seen.
So now we're going to break away from some of these serious questions and we're going to get into some of the fun questions. So this one is my favorite one because everybody answers it differently. Like all of these are my favorite because they're each unique in their own way, but this one really gets it for me. You're standing in front of an all-knowing crystal ball that's guaranteed to be both honest and direct. If you could ask it one question, what would you ask?
I love that you've given me a decision to make. Wow. So any question, it's going to be completely honest. And it's all knowing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of how to phrase the question. I know the question. But I always treat these things like genies. If you don't ask just the right way, it's going to fuck you.
Yep.
Can it be two questions in the one? I'm going to do it anyway. So am I meant for greatness? And if so, in what way?
That sounds like a what is your purpose question. 42.
37, it's my favorite number.
Oh, okay, 37.
As long as you bring a towel, it's all good.
I have the answer to that. I don't know. When you did, so I took an edible before that happened. I just felt it. Normally I don't, but today I was like, she's late. We changed the date. You know, today's Sunday. It's hot.
Not here.
Okay, show off. Sorry, I'm getting feedback from behind the scenes. Every person is meant for greatness, though to the level they desire, perhaps they may fall short. Yes, you are meant for greatness. Love that. So this question, remember, take these seriously.
I do.
What would you do if you came home and found a penguin in your freezer?
Is it alive?
Hey, good. Somebody actually asked, is it alive? Everybody always assumes it's dead. It's up to you.
Schrodinger's.
Yeah, Schrodinger's.
What would I do? Well, first I'd check to see if it was alive. Then I would probably see if, honestly, if it was frozen, I'd try to probably save it. See if it could be like. There's no telling how long it's been in that situation. So maybe I can bring it back.
Wait, can penguins freeze? Yes, right? They're mammals.
I would assume that anything can eventually freeze.
Right. Dance with happy feet. I love that answer. That's a good answer. Dance with happy feet.
They have to huddle. They have to huddle, so I assume that they can. No, I'm probably not going to do it that way. I might give it a little tongue.
No, your husband would have something to say about that.
I'd just tell him I was tasting it.
Oh God, this is going to be racist of me, but do Aussies eat penguins?
You know that we don't actually have penguins in a desert continent. Just saying.
Yes.
Although we do own part of Antarctica.
See, that's why I was asking. I know a little bit, right? Penguins aren't mammals.
I'm sure that yes, I was going to say what Miranda beat me to. That if anyone was allowed to, it would be the Aborigines. because they're allowed to eat all the things that we're not allowed to. Like
Penguins
all the
are
endangered
birds.
species, they get to tell you what it tastes like. Apparently, a lot of it tastes like chicken.
A lot of it tastes like chicken.
Yeah, Miranda, you didn't get anywhere close, but I know what you meant.
If you were on death row, what would your last meal be?
I would have 100-course meal.
So, how many meals would be the same in that 100-course meal? Or would they
Oh, well,
all
you
be
couldn't have
different?
anything the same because then they have to cook each one individually, and that takes time.
Can you have a 100-course meal? What
They,
happens when you get to the end of it? You're still gonna die.
mm, maybe, but I'll probably wish I was by then. And maybe, just maybe, I'll be fat enough that they won't be able to actually kill me because the injection might absorb into a lot of the food. Could be hard to electrocute me. Like, there's a lot of possibilities for having too much food in your system. Or maybe I would gorge myself like that Monty Python skit, and I would just explode.
Or we could become
To go out on
shapes
my
and
own
roll around
terms.
together. Yeah, there you go. Go out on your own terms. You get to choose.
Death by food.
Speaking of choosing, if you could choose one superpower to obtain and have instant mastery over, what would it be and why?
So I've actually answered this question for Jack before, but I'm going to make the same caveat now that I did then. You know how a lot of superheroes have like their main power and then their like sub power that's related? So my my main power would be to make people able to laugh uncontrollably whether they want to or not in any situation.
Oh, that's terrifying.
I know, right? Like, think about that. Think about being at a funeral and you were the only one laughing uncontrollably. And there's nothing you can do about it. That is a
And
terrifying that
your
is a
sub
terrifying
power?
power. My sub power would be the ability to make you almost sneeze. You know that huh? Yep, that one.
I hate you. That is
Because both
ridiculous. I love
would
it.
make me absolutely laugh my ass off, no matter which one I used. So they still have the same result.
You'd be a perfect villain.
Oh, I would. My mom actually says that she saved the world from me becoming an evil genius because I didn't have a troubled enough childhood.
Oh no. I really do love these questions. Good job, me. I'm gonna pat myself on the back. If you could live in any fictional universe, which would you choose and why?
Mm. Any fictional universe. Hmm. That one's hard because there's a few different ones that I would for a few different reasons. But which one could I? I wouldn't mind visiting some of them, but I go, would you want to live there forever? No. So I really think that pre
What's the
Lord of
first
the
answer? Just go. Just go.
Yeah, that's what I decided to go with. So pre Lord of the Rings.
You nerd.
Yeah, I am. And the reason I say before Lord of the Rings and before Hobbit is because the elves had already left. For those, I'm about to nerd out. Warning, warning, about to nerd out. Because the elves had already left, uh, left sort of Middle Earth. They were already divided, and
Where's Mordor?
that is closest association would be hell on earth. Um, yes, Ags got it correct. It's West. Um, we've always hated the West. Sorry. Name that reference. Nerded out. Um, yeah, so it's Mordor is like a hell on earth. It is the emerging of the demonic and the convergence of the demonic and evil in a single place. Um,
So is that the same universe that you're going to be in, that you would like to be in?
well, it's all part of it. So
Oh,
there's the darkest of evil, there's the brightest of good, there's magic, there's dragons, there's uh, endless possibilities. Um, and I think that's what I like about it most is the endless and unknown possibilities, and that there is still the ability to have grand and epic adventures and be able to experience something new and unheard of every day.
that sounds, in theory, really nice and interesting and exciting, but also I can only think of the exhausting part.
Well, I've always lived a peak and valley life. I don't really get to live in ripples. Uh, when things go bad, they go really bad. Um, but on the other side, when things go good, they go really good. Um, and it's made me a much deeper, thoughtful person than probably a lot of people my age. I put a lot more consideration into things than I find a lot of people around me do. Um, it's also made me a very astute study of other people because I have lived through so many life crises and big events and things that, in all honesty, probably would have broken some people. Um, I would actually choose to be an elf, just saying, just answering question. If I could choose. If not, I would love to be a mage, but magic of some sort. Um, but yeah, it's the fact that I do live that peak and valley, that the prospect of having another universe where I'm living a peak and valley, that's okay. I'm used to that.
Okay. Which dinosaur do you identify with?
Hmm. My arms are too long to be a T-Rex. Um, like I'm sure that if I took time to study like and really nerded out on dinosaurs, but I only know the main ones from like uh, Jurassic Park and that. So I would say probably uh, a velociraptor. They can hunt in
Mm.
packs. They can hunt on their own. They're very uh, clever and able to set traps, and you don't see them coming. Um, and I'm thinking of mainly of the darker side because I see dinosaurs as a very uh, they're not soft and cuddly. They're not like
They're very carnal.
yes, and I'm definitely not docile enough to not be one of the predators. Like I'm not going to just protect myself. I do go uh, proactively protect
Velociraptors
myself.
were the birds, right?
No, they are like hyenas, I guess would be the best way to associate them. So a lot of people think that hyenas are scavengers, but they're actually not. They are hunters, very often killing the whatever it is, be it a buffalo or whatever they've got after. And lions, because of their size, will run them off and take their kill. Um, Hyenas are very, very clever animals and not at all scavengers. They can, but for the most part, they are pack killers, um, but can also be very dangerous in and of themselves.
Okay. Do you believe there is a such thing as a truly selfless act?
No,
Why?
because on some level, we're still doing it for ourselves. Even if we are doing it for good reasons, some of those reasons are still for ourselves. So I do it because it feels good. You mean because it makes you feel good, because you like feeling good, so you've done it to make yourself feel good. There's nothing wrong with that. Um, but I think a lot of people try to paint themselves as this selfless individual, but they revel in the idea of being selfless, which in and of itself is not selfless. Um, Humans by nature, I believe, are very self-centric. Um, we are good at thinking about ourselves first. We're not very good at thinking of others first. Um, it's just not in our nature. I actually believe that uh, once you get, uh, once you have a group of more than three, it stops being we and starts being me.
Oh.
For a very simple example, if you, let's say you go out with a group of three friends, right? It's you and two other people. You make decisions together where you're going to eat, maybe what club you're going to go dance at, these sort of things. Nobody is breaking off to go do one or the other. It's like, okay, we will do this. Now, add one extra person. Now, when someone wants to do something different, one of the other three might go, yeah, you know what? I'd rather do that too. And all of a sudden the group is fractured. And you're willing to fracture and go off and do your own things because it's not on your own. So when it's more than three, it's not we, it's me.
Yeah, I'm gonna write that down. If it's more than three, it's not we, it's me. I like that.
Now, it's not saying we can't fight against that uh, sort of reflex. But if we're honest about it and we're honest with ourselves, uh, we are thinking of ourselves first and what we want and how that will affect us. And whereas if it's a group of three, it's, well, how will we deal with that? What will we be? We can still think as a collective, but humans just aren't very good at doing it. We can be trying to do it, but we aren't very good at doing it naturally.
Good answer. I got 4 more questions for you and then we're done.
Okay.
What was the situation where you realized, oh shit, I'm the asshole?
I don't think we have enough time for me to go through all those.
Just one recent one, I guess.
Um, I guess most of my really tricky situations do happen at work. Um, I'm pretty unapologetically me on the app. Um, I don't feel because the app is so big and there's so many people, I don't feel the need to apologize for who I am because you don't have to be around me. There's no one forcing you. Just go be somewhere else that isn't near me. Um, Whereas in off app situations, not everyone has that choice. Um, I didn't realize until this job when I had it explained so much better than I ever had, um, that there was a fundamental communication breakdown between the culture I grew up in and the culture I now live in. Um, with the American approach to trying to be helpful at a job, you explain all the things that you can do well, and you wait for someone to choose one of those. Oh, you can do that? That's great. Let's use that. In Australia, that comes off as very arrogant.
Oh.
Listing all these things that you can do comes off as, I'm so much smarter than you. I'm so much more talented than you. Look at this big list I have. I think I'm better than you. Even though that's not the intent, that's how it reads. And I didn't realize that. But when presented to me that way, I realized why no one was warming up to me. Where I was simply seeking to be helpful by going, look, these are all the things I can do. I've got a lot of skills and things that I want to use. It was coming across, I know better than you. These are all the reasons why I know better than you. And when I had it presented, now it was presented in a very soft and very respectful way because I have a one-on-one with my boss every week. And when she explained all this, I went, oh my God, I'm the asshole. It's a cultural breakdown that isn't necessarily my fault per se, but I completely missed all the social cues that said, hey, you're being a dick. And so I learned and thought about it. I went, ooh, what can I do differently? Because I don't believe that if you want a situation to change, it's not up to anyone else to change, because they're okay with the situation the way it is. If you want it to change, you only have control over yourself. So you must change something you do to change a situation. So what could I do? And I finally came up with, instead of telling people what you can do first, ask the question, how can I help? How can I help? Would it help if I? If not, what can I do? And that helps frame all those skills and all those things I can do and all those things that I've taught myself. It presents them in the intent that they're meant. which is I want to help. Will any of this do? And it's made a massive difference.
So you just reframed it. Okay. Because I'm learning about reframing too and radical acceptance and all that stuff.
It's about stopping for a moment, replaying those moments from their perspective, trying to see what you don't see. And don't get me wrong, it took me over a week of just banging my head against the wall going, I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. What do I need to change? And it wasn't until I got out of my own way and stopped trying to go, okay, well, I would do this. No, you're not the person receiving the information. They are. So think like them, which is hard. Because we all have different life experiences and all of that sort of thing. But I cottoned on to the fact that Aussies don't really talk about what they can do at all, unless asked.
So is that saying that they're not boastful or?
Well, there's a thing called tall poppy syndrome. And what it means here is that Miranda picked all your apples. What it means is basically that you are getting too big for yourself. We
Too
in the
big
South
for
we
your
call
britches.
it too. Yep. But it's the other side of it. It's when someone's being successful and being standing a little bit taller than anyone else. Aussies have a tendency to cut them down. You're probably in a better position to get a better explanation if you looked up tall poppy syndrome. It'll kill the live if I look it up.
Says is a social phenomenon where people attack, criticize, or undermine individuals who have achieved notable success, wealth, or status.
Yep. So it's not that they've done anything wrong or that they're bragging about it or any of that. They just are standing taller than those around them.
Huh. Happens on the app too, definitely.
So when I took it from that side of things and I went, well, that's the issue. It's seen as bragging and trying to stand taller than the people around me, which wasn't my intent.
I could see how you could come off as that though.
Oh, absolutely. And look, the bravado that I have on app, which those who know me best know that that's all it is. It is done for effect and normally for a comic effect at that. People say things like, oh, I could never stand up there and speak that long. It would make me uncomfortable. I can. So it's done mostly for the comedic effect, not because I truly believe that I'm better than all these or that I'm some God's gift, but that's what I go for. I still say, oh, it's tough being me and setting the gold standard, but someone has to do it.
What would people be surprised to know about you?
Probably that I started life very shy. That in middle school, I very much was a wallflower. Very unlikely to speak up even in class. uh, that I really didn't come into my own and become the self assured and unapologetically me until really I met my husband. Um, I was still dressing as though I was 4 sizes bigger than I was. Um, Big baggy shirts and big baggy jeans and a short pixie cut. I looked like the biggest bull dyke you had ever met.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
For
Um,
legal reasons, she's joking.
yeah, huh? Um, but he brought something out that I didn't know was even there. Um, and so it's why I'm always bemused by people that try to, as we would say in Australia, crack on, hit on, or try to pick up. I'm just not interested. I really feel like uh, I feel almost indebted to him for helping me find this amazing person that was underneath all the baggy clothes and the long hair trying that I grew out and then cut off trying to hide somehow. Um, and he basically told me I didn't need to.
That's beautiful. My husband's the same way. It's good to have a support system that's right there with you, ride or die.
Oh, now
But we'll still
don't
look at you
worry.
like,
We are very much like Ray Romano's parents. Um, you would never know that we care that much about each other when you speak to us, but you come after one of us, and that's where shit gets real. Because I can call him an idiot and a moron and tell him he's stupid, but you're not allowed to.
oh. And my final question for those keeping count, that was 3 questions because I scrapped a question. I didn't need that one. So the final question is, what is one question that you wish I had asked you tonight?
Mm. What are your plans uh, on app for future, given the uh, statement about wanting to be a positive force on the app and wanting to make a positive difference in this space? Uh, and my answer to that is that it's an evolving uh, goal, I guess. Uh, and my new alt and alt family have a lot to do with that. Uh, it will allow me to be a lot less concerned about outcomes and consequences to some of the social experiments, shall we say, that I plan to uh, start rolling out. Um, those who know me best know that I do social experiments, A, to learn the most I can about the people around me, but also to push people into their uncomfortable zone. We all sit in our comfort zone or on the edge of our comfort zone, but it takes a lot to push us over into to sitting in our uncomfortable zone and learning to be comfortable with it.
That's cool.
And that's my next.
That's a great segue into what I was going to ask you next, which is, do you have any promo for yourself?
Absolutely. Not I always. Um, so I've been talking about it for a while. Uh, I'm nearly finished. Um, I did get a bit sidetracked the with what I'm going to share with you in a minute. Um,
Before you do, I wanted to ask you, before you get too deep into that, do you care? I like to do this thing where I give a breakdown of your character based on the questions that I've
oh,
asked you tonight and the answers that you've given
I
me.
love that.
So would you be okay if I read a breakdown
Yes,
of?
yes.
Okay, cool. So here's what I got, basically based on the answers you gave me tonight. EzzRock is an interesting individual. Right out of the gate, she all but verbalized that she values the praise and validation of others to a nearly unhealthy level. The way she speaks about people on the app versus the way she speaks about people off the app, who she regularly interacts with, shows that she may romanticize the relationship she builds on the app. We all do that.
Yeah.
So, aside from emotional attachments to people, she values the emotional attachment she's made to songs and other pieces of media as well. She has a desire to remain emotionally attached to people in whatever way she can create, likely born of sadness or stress. However, this connection is often compromised by her discomfort to vulnerability. So you have a little bit of a. Okay, you got it. This becomes her very own double-edged sword because it can also show her unlikely allies, which she values more than she knows she can rely upon. It becomes alarmingly obvious that you have a desire to delay the inevitable whenever you answer the question about death row and the 100-course meal. It's probably due to your need for control and have the last word in a conversation. I've also feel like you have a little bit of mistrust in yourself and that you're sometimes unable to tell if they're friend or foe until it's too late and you might let them get a little bit too close. In your ideal world, you would have visible traits that showed your role in life. You would have armor on you. If I had anything to say, you would have armor. Um, you'd also find yourself in a position where learning was synonymous with discovery. Even in your current reality, you might view those two terms as interchangeable. One of the last things I gleaned about Miss EzzRock is that you view yourself as a realist or a pragmatic, uh, even to the point of cynicism sometimes. Sadly, it's compromised by some self doubt. Like I said, we all have this. Some mistreatment, some trauma that you've had, where you start talking about the cultural breakdown. Um, Overall, I believe that you just need a really good friend group, or you said, more than three is me. So maybe just a safe number of friends, and with whom you feel safe enough to drop the tough facade, drop the pretense, and allow yourself to be raw, vulnerable, without having those vulnerabilities weaponized.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. I'll give you that.
It's not all me. It's me and my team. We're sitting here taking notes. I'm telling you, man. This
Yeah.
is the whole point of these things, is to kind of unmask you.
I won't say that some of it's not hard to hear, but I wouldn't say I disagree with any of it. Um, we always have a romanticized uh, version of ourselves that we carry around, and especially on this app.
Oh, I'm a pretty princess. What are you talking about?
I would give you princess. I would see you more as like a Wednesday Adams type princess. Um, reveling in the dark and mysterious more so than the rainbows and unicorns. Um, but yet, it's one of the things I do uh, pride myself in is being able to be honest and hear honesty for what it is. Some call it constructive criticism. I think that's thrown around a bit too much, that it's lost its meaning, or it has had its meaning bastardized,
Mm-hmm.
much in the way that people are literally something and they're not. I'm literally dying. No, you're not.
No, you're not.
Um, and it's probably one of the life skills that I value most because it was hard to come by. Um, Even harder still to use. But
Remember that this breakdown is not criticism. It's just me kind of giving a read off of you.
It's having me look in a mirror and go, is that what you see?
That's it.
And
That's exactly it.
But it's not always easy to look in a mirror.
I have a best friend who regularly shows me the mirror, and he's still my best friend.
But if you can learn to honestly look in that mirror and do so without judgment, just acceptance, that would be my biggest piece of advice for everybody.
And you don't even have to accept it as long as you're open to it, in my opinion. If your brain and your mind is open,
acceptance is the final step.
Yeah.
Like I'm saying that being able to accept is a massive skill and gift to yourself. Instead of judging yourself for what you are, accepting it means that you can learn to work with that. You know this is true about you. If it's not something you like, it doesn't mean you have to change it. It just means you have to find ways to work with it. There are parts of myself that are very dark and very prone to destructive behavior. But I know that. And so knowing and accepting that means that I can make plans to circumvent some of the things that I wouldn't be able to if I didn't accept that that is part of who I am. There's nothing wrong or right about it. It's just learn to deal with it.
So, pivoting back to you and your big reveal in your promo, you have the floor, ma'am.
So, I've been spruiking it for a while. A lot of you know about it. Some of you may not. I am going to be releasing a competition called WTAF. Yes, it stands for exactly what you think it does. It will be run by Loki's Chosen, which is the newest family on the app. You will know them by the fact that every username's name begins with Loki's. It is a competition not for the faint-hearted. If you don't use that phrase at least once during the competition, you have not really been playing. I'm not going to go through all the rounds because it'll get a bit overwhelming with how vastly different they each are. But I will say the first round is going to take place in a party room. It is a strict 2-hour time limit, no longer. There is a strict 2-minute timer per song. You can cue as many times as you like, but only those that cue qualifying songs will be allowed to sing. The kicker is, I'm not going to tell you how to make a qualifying song. You just have to cue and figure it out. So if you got kicked out of cue, most likely that's not a qualifying song. So if you get to stage and you get to sing, you get a point. Now, if you were able to get to stage and guess what that qualifying rule is, you get 30 points. Each round will be like that so that anyone can join at any round and potentially still be able to win. There's a few other kickers and twists along the way. But what would be the fun of me telling you all of it? Um, Basically, come expecting not to understand, and that's the competition. Can you figure out what you're supposed to know and don't?
So has the competition already closed for auditions, or are you going to take more people?
I am, it is a, whoever is there on the day gets the chance to compete. Um, I'm not doing auditions. I'm not doing uh, a cut in or out. If you get there and you cue and you manage to get to stage, you get a point. And,
Okay.
and every
Sorry, we're
round will
about to
be,
come up on the end of time, so I
yeah,
just wanted
that's,
to thank you real quick for the video. Just thank you
yeah,
so much for that. And then
yeah. The one last thing I have is my own.
uh-oh.
I've been working on this
Uh-oh.
for a while. Um, so I'm going to introduce you to my co-host for my live. Her name is Echo. I spent over a week coding Echo. Um, she is my AI co-host that runs off my own
Okay.
code. No, it's not ChatGPT. No, it's not Siri renamed. Nope, this is my code that I've coded to create my own co-host. I'm still working on a few things, but if I waited for it to be perfect, then I would never be able to do anything. So I'm just going to open her up because I did put her to sleep so that she wouldn't interrupt me, because I hate when things interrupt me. I'm speaking. So, because she does run from a command. For those that want to nerd out for a second, it is a command prompt system that I use. So just in case anyone wanted to know. If anyone wants to know about creating an AI, I guess, assistant or co-host or whatever, please feel free to inbox me. I'm more than happy to discuss what went right and what went wrong and what I would have done differently if I'd known, because there was a lot of failure to, yes, exactly like that. Only I get to control this one, and it doesn't have to say terrible things to me. Like, if I try harder, I can get recommended. So let's go CD. Downs, echo, there we are. Ah, my command prompt does have an issue with doing what I say. I really wish that technology would just read my mind. Eventually that will come. And then we'll all be sad that it can read our minds and what filthy things we come up with as humans, but that's okay.
I love this.
So, all right. Why doesn't it? Oh, because I'm not running it as an administrator. Shut up, Ags. I know you're over there telling me how it's supposed to run. It's all in her head. I know she's over there going, oh my God, why can't you just... Shh. Shh. I had this already and then it wasn't. So, there we are. And let's go to... I did get the help of some of the AI things to start with. Ags and I had a discussion about this on my actual live, about the fact that AI is fine as long as you then go back and cut the shit out of its code, because it is so bulky and bad. But it's a great place to start from.
I love the stalling.
I'm trying to get to where I get to my correct directory.
Anyway, for YouTube, thank you guys for joining us. But we're going to end the video because my device is dying. But for the live, it's still going.